Hello, everyone. My name is Antoine Love.
And I'm Rashid, and today we'll be talking about Python and SQLite. So, what is SQLite? SQLite was founded by Dr. Richard Hipp, who designed SQLite in the spring of the year 2000. SQLite is basically a lighter version of SQL, hence its name, that is an in-process library that implements a self-contained, serverless, zero-configuration, transactional SQL database engine. SQLite is an embedded SQL database engine. Unlike most other SQL databases, SQLite reads and writes directly to ordinary disk files. So what are the benefits of SQLite? One of the major benefits of SQLite is that it's serverless. Unlike other SQL database engines that are implemented, they need separate servers. With SQLite, that feature is gone because any program that is able to access the disk is able to use an SQLite database. Another major benefit of SQLite is that there's zero configuration. SQLite does not need to be installed before it is used. There is no setup procedure, no server that needs to be started, stopped, nothing needs to be done. SQLite just works, which makes it a very efficient. Better performance. Reading and writing from an SQLite database is often faster than reading and writing individual files from disk. Also, SQLite is very portable, as it is compatible across all 32-bit and 64-bit systems, and all operating systems. It also allows multiple processes to access the same database at the same time without interfering with each other.
One brief thing to mention about SQLite, it is a combination of the best of both worlds. As you can see by this chart, according to Indeed job posting, SQL or SQL is actually one of the most requested languages as far as employers, and also Python comes in at third. And so, learning and using SQLite could be very beneficial as far as to your learning skills and to your um, capabilities that you could use in the job market. And so now we'll be showing you a small demonstration of how easy SQLite is.
If you would like to practice SQLite in Python, head over to the python.org/downloads and you'll find available links for Windows computers, Macs, and Linux. Also, another valuable piece of information is that SQLite is a library in Python, which is why there's no download process for SQLite or anything.
All right, and so the environment I'll be using is Python IDLE, IDLE, which stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment. The two things I'll be using is a Python shell as well as a Python script. For the purposes of this video, I've already written the code, and I'm just going to give a brief explanation of what everything does. The very first thing we did was just import the SQLite library. And I also imported a random library so I can generate random numbers, which will be showed later on in this presentation. The very first thing you want to do is open a connection to the database. For the purposes of this demo, this is the name of the database that I've chosen. Now, if you enter anything into here and it doesn't exist, then by the end, once you run this program, that database will be created. So C equals con.cursor is in relation to our connection. C is the cursor. And then we'll just scroll right down to creating the table. The first thing I do is a check just to see if that table exists. So if that table does not exist, then I will create a new table, which will include the values that I set in here. The values that I have in here include a UIN, date stamp, status, and position. They are followed by their types. Real is basically like a floating number, and text is like a string, similar to a string. So this function right here, which is multi underscore into data, I just have listed the data that we'll be entering into the database. So each of them, like the UIN and the position, they are randomized between two values. The UIN is randomized between 100 million and 999 million, roughly in that range. Our position is randomized from 1 to 5, and these are just random numbers that I'm coming up with. And then C.execute is where we will insert all of these values into the table. And then finally, in order to save our execution, we're just going to commit to the connection. The function below is just a show table function, similar to how we did SQL in class. you would just select star from students. So that will select everything from the database, which is why we have c.execute. So execute the cursor, and then after that, in order to print everything out, we just created a for loop, which will c.fetch all will take everything within the cursor that was selected and just print it out. And then I created a main function just to run each of the functions that I created, which was new table. And then this for I loop in range 10 is just to create 10 different randomized variations for the tables, just to fill our table. Show table, of course, is to show the table. And the final thing we want to do is close our cursor as well as close our connection to the database. And so right now I'm just going to hit F5 to run the program. And if you pay attention to our shell, you can see that all these values generated. So all of the UINs are randomized as well as the positions. And that will be the end of our demo. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.